Ancestral bridges, reconnecting humanity through the universal language of sacred symbols. The discovery that changed everything, I was painting a Taino spiral one afternoon, the kind my Caribbean indigenous ancestors carved into cave walls and petroglyphs across the islands when something stopped me cold. I'd just been researching Aboriginal dot paintings from Australia, and there it was again, the spiral, the same sacred geometry, the same cosmic pattern representing creation, growth, and the eternal cycle of life. Then I found it in Celtic knotwork, in ancient African Adinkra symbols, in indigenous North American petroglyphs, in Maori Tomoko, in Hindu mandalas, in the medicine wheels of the Plains nations. The spiral was everywhere. Not because cultures copied each other, most of these peoples never had contact across oceans and continents, but because they were all observing the same truth. The spiral appears in nature everywhere, in seashells and hurricanes, in the double helix of DNA in the arms of galaxies, in the growth pattern of ferns unfurling and the shape of our own fingerprints. Our ancestors, separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years, all looked at the world and saw the same sacred patterns. They encoded these patterns into art, ceremony, and spiritual practice because they understood something we've forgotten. These aren't just pretty designs, they're consciousness technologies. They're maps of how the universe works. They're bridges between the human and the divine, between the individual and the cosmos, between past and future. This realization birthed Ancestral Bridges not just as a program or series, but as a philosophy, a practice, and a radical act of remembering. What Ancestral Bridges is. At its most practical level, Ancestral Bridges is a community cultural series combining painting workshops, genealogy guidance, and public exhibitions designed to reconnect people with their ancestral lineages and the sacred symbols that have always belonged to humanity as a whole. But Ancestral Bridges is also something deeper. It's the recognition that colonization didn't just steal land and enslave bodies. It severed our connection to the universal symbolic language that once united all peoples. It convinced us we were separate, competing, fundamentally different. It taught us that our ancestors were primitive and their wisdom was superstition. It erased the bridges that connected us across continents and cultures. Ancestral Bridges seeks to rebuild what colonization destroyed, the understanding that we all come from the same tribes of creation, that sacred symbols belong to humanity, not as property, but as inheritance, and that when we reconnect to our specific ancestral lineages, we simultaneously reconnect to the universal human story. We are all indigenous to Earth.